Hey everyone, Brendan Lowe from Jazz Piano School here. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you 3 strategies you can implement today to improve your blues scale improvisation. Now, when we learn the blues scale and go and try and use it, a lot of times it doesn't come out the way we imagine, right? We're trying to play it and use it and we're like, this doesn't sound right. So these 3 strategies will help you improve your blues scale improvisation and make it sound like you've been doing it for a long time and get a decent sound out of the blues scale. So don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com/podcast 129 to get the free set of practice materials that will help you implement these 3 strategies I'm about to show you. So with that being said, let's dive right into this episode.
All right, so what you're going to do to improve your blues scale, everyone plays the blues scale the same, right? So we have... Now, the thing that people have trouble with is when you first start playing, you sound like this. Right? You get the picture and you're probably like, how do I sound better? Even if you sound a little bit better than that. These are going to be 2 tips that you can instantly use to start improving your blues scale. Okay. The first thing, well, let's throw in a 3rd tip. I'm going to throw in a 3rd tip. Okay. Free of charge. So the 3 tips. All right. The first thing you want to do is you do not want to play in succession, the blues scale in succession. All right. So when I'm going back and forth and up and down like this, right, it's creating just a very kind of bland feeling. You want to create jumps. You want to jump registers. You want to create different patterns, right? You're looking for patterns. So maybe I do this. Now, already you're probably like, wow, that's like 10 times better, isn't it? Like instantly, it's like 10 times better, right? And I can switch it up. Maybe I'll do this. Now, I'm making huge jumps here to obviously give you guys like a very, very, excuse me, distinguishable example that is happening here so that you're not kind of moving up and down the blues scale every single time. And obviously this is for beginners, right? I'm going to get into the more advanced tips in a second, but just put those jumps in there and it doesn't have to be much. Like you can jump 1 note. Right? And already it's starting to come together and actually sound like an improv solo. Obviously, you know, there's more room for improvement, but instantly you're going to get a better feeling of like, oh man, I can actually use this scale and start to improvise with it and not have it sound like it sucks, right? You don't want to have that. And so just moving up and down the blues scale is, I shouldn't say, sorry, I apologize. I shouldn't say that word, but just it's not going to sound great, right? You're going to sound like a beginner player. And that's obviously all of us are striving to get somewhere. All right. So tip number 2. You need to add in rhythms. So many people start with the blues scale. They start with the 8th notes, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm combining both errors right here in 1. I'm moving up and down sequentially and all 8th notes. Right? There's no breaks, there's no pauses, and even if there is a pause, right? It's not much, okay? So we really want to focus on adding those rhythmic values, okay? And you can have a list. I'd highly recommend you have a list of values that are in front of you, you know, like of rhythmic values. So you have your quarter notes, you have your 8th notes, you have your triplets, you have dotted quarter notes, you have 16th notes, okay? All of those values you want to be using, not to mention space, right? And rest. Rest are values as well. So you don't need to think of all the values of rest, but you can think of quarter note rest, 8th note rest, and just leave it at that. Or you can think of short amounts of rest or long amounts of rest. So let me just kind of apply some of the rhythmic values now. Right? And again, by adding that rhythmic value to your solo, again, it's creating kind of movement, it's creating contrast, it's creating areas for you to develop your solo, because then you can start to build motifs off the rhythmic values you are now adding. So please work on using exact rhythmic values in your playing. And again, you can get this in the practice exercises if you go to jazzpianoschool.com/podcast 129. They'll have all these exercises listed out for you. Take your chord notes. right? You're just practicing chord notes, then you're practicing eighth notes, but they're not strung together. Right? You're with rests and things like that. Then you practice triplets maybe. And then you start to splice them together within the rests, okay? So you need to have rhythmic value in order to start, sounding professional with your blues scale solo. And again, mixed with the first tip that I give you about not moving sequential, making some jumps in there, it's going to instantly start to allow you to achieve a better blues scale sound. Okay, now the last tip I'm going to show you. Now, so many people learn the blues scale, they learn this. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave one note, just one note out. I'm going to leave one note out of the scale, and that's going to be the sharp 4. So I'm going to play this. Okay? Now by leaving this one note out, you're actually getting a completely different sound, and I love this sound. I actually learned it from my previous teacher, Eric Reed, who played with Wynton Marsalis a lot. He's got so many amazing albums. Go check him out. He's got an amazing church blues jazz piano sound and feel that I absolutely love, and he would use this a lot on a lot of his earlier albums. And he still does. Now, by removing this one sharp 4, you're getting a sound that sounds like this. It's kind of more or less like a pentatonic scale. You don't have the 2 in there. Right? So you have 1, 3, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. But this is going to give you a different blues sound than adding this sharp 4 in. So check it out. Oops, sorry, I went to that by accident. And again, going forward, so on. So basically, using that scale, utilizing the removal of that note is going to give you a completely different sound. And again, if I put that into a more real-life demonstration of what it's going to sound like, let me just flip my pedal over here. Again, it does give you that kind of pentatonic-ish feeling, right? And it could be thought of, as a kind of an E-flat pentatonic scale over the C, right? So it is an E-flat pentatonic scale, right? But you're just using that over C. I don't want to start you by thinking about it. I mean, you can start off by thinking about it as an E-flat pentatonic scale, but again, I want you to really understand the qualities of the blues scale it's going to give you when you're using it in the key of C, right? Because otherwise you might think of this as 1, 2, 3, when that in actuality, that's not how it relates to the key center, right? So this is going to be 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and 1 again. Okay, so those are the 3 tips. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and check out the next podcast. We're going to be coming out and producing podcasts every single week, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy practicing, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.
All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed those 3 strategies. Again, don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com/podcast129 to get the free set of practice materials that will help you implement the 3 strategies I just showed you. And again, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel down below, because we release a new lick of the week every single Monday, along with a new podcast episode, just like the one you just watched, every single Wednesday. And again, if you have a favorite blues track or album that you love listening to, or a pianist, go ahead and let me know in the comments down below, because I'm always searching for new albums, new tracks, new artists to listen to. And again, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments down below as well. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and as always, happy practicing.